Okay, so I just stopped there. I will do another 15 20 minutes or at max 30 minutes of a session, and this will be the part two. And I want to finish it today itself. Here, I will talk about advertising. You know, so you can have a lot of books, you can read a lot of books, and you can get some idea regarding advertising. But here, I will give you a glimpse regarding the information flow. Okay. So the thing is, what I want to talk about is for branding and advertising, we will do a separate session, maybe in functions of business, maybe in some other thing, basics of business, whatever is the playlist. We will do one separate session where we will talk about branding, integrated marketing, communication, especially advertising in a different way, because filmmaking, advertisement, media, and entertainment, uh, there is a lot of overlap, and we can learn the techniques, we can learn the things. But what you have to understand the way of the nature of communication. So how do you know whether communication is successful or not? Broadly, if you look at it, there are two ways: the communication effect, how it is communicated, how well it is received, involvement, engagement, how you are understanding the thing, how you can use it in a better way, or you can utilize the information given in something. And the second one is the sales effect, the numbers, the sales numbers and all that stuff. But the problem is, the reason I am talking about all these things again and again is, if the numbers are fudged, sales data, if it is fudged or it is done to make a different kind of communication, so you believe in that communication and you go to the wrong path, that can happen. And the communication effect, that can be also fudged in a way. Narratives get created. Suppose sales data, the statistics is fudged, the numbers are wrong, they are not giving you the actual data. And the communication, there is a perception created that it was successful, this and this happened, but ultimately we don't focus on the content much. So content is there, and we do the extra part, like the promotion part. If I talk in terms of marketing, that is the fourth P, that is the integrated marketing communication. That comes after words. After three P's, it comes. First, we talk about the product. Then we know the pricing. We decide the pricing. There are different kinds of pricing I have talked about already. Then we look about the placing of the product, the placement of the product. Now, regarding advertisement, I will talk about one thing. You can you can do the product placement inside a movie also. So, for example, a brand A can be used by the protagonist or the antagonist, and you see the logo or you see the name. So that is a kind of product placement in the movie, right? So you're marketing that brand also. So and there are different ways to do that. Sometimes you get some money for that, sometimes automatically you do that. Sometimes people don't show the name and they blur it, or they do something so that you don't see the brand. So there are different ways of doing communication. But sometimes it can harm the entire film also, because advertisement, trailer, and all these things can harm the entire thing. That's why I am talking about communication, why I am talking about branding and advertisement. That's very important, because that can be your weakness and that can be exploited. Why? Ultimately, it all comes down to communication. Forget the numbers. The numbers can be a byproduct. If you do it well, you will get the numbers and you will get the metrics. The communication is very important. If the audience is getting the wrong communication, the effect will be seen in something else. And if you see the effect very early in the process, then you know how to take control of that, how to change that. But if you believe that something is going to be all right, then something may not be all right, or may not be going to be all right, right? Uh, so that's why you need to be very cautious about that. And which brand you are using with which brand, that is also very important. How you are placing them, where you are placing them, with which frequency. Suppose you can show a trailer in front, before a movie, in the middle of the movie, when you have an intermission. If you have an intermission in India, in India, generally it is like that, you have an intermission, so you have a gap. But I don't prefer that, because it's always best to watch a movie, from start to end at one go. That's the impact of cinema. Otherwise, there is a gap in between, even if it is for 5 or 10 minutes. I don't like that, if you ask me. But how it can affect, because there is a lot of distraction. you know. So before the movie you are placing something, in between the two parts of the movie you are placing something, or maybe afterwards you are placing something. But generally what happens is, I always tell people to do one thing: till the end of the credit you wait for the names, because you belong to a fraternity. It's a big fraternity, the filmmaking fraternity, all the filmmaking profession, so you respect each other. So what you do is, even at least I do it in this way, and whenever I have created a film club, I have told them to follow this ritual, and that's really respectful, and that changes you as a human being, and so you can give more, you can do great things, because humility like this can take you a long way. But many people don't do that, especially if you are not in the profession. You just got to see a movie, and you left just when you see directed by, written or directed by so and so, till maybe till cinematography or editing you wait, or maybe when the larger credit comes, more names, then many people leave. But at last you can see which camera was used, which lenses were which camera was used, which lenses were used, and whether it was film or digital, the society names, the production, and everything. There is so much to learn regarding the production process also, because next time when you want to do a production, if you have liked it, you will know why you liked it, and how you can use it in terms of business, as well as it's like respecting your fellow professionals. And sometimes people do a placement after the movie, and that is also a marketing tool. So after the entire thing ends, a short video maybe is giving you a cliffhanger or something, what is to be expected, from the next one or the next version, or maybe one film of the entire franchisee. One character will be there, who is part of the entire franchise. These things, but ultimately it comes down to communication. So information and flow, I can do a separate session regarding that, like branding, advertisement, marketing. But if I separate these two, then you will not understand the problem. So what you have to understand, the advertisement as a process. Your advertiser, who is advertising it, or client, if I use the term, they are trying to have certain kind of communication. Audience should feel about them in certain way, right? They want to they want to feel, make the audience feel in certain ways about that brand. There are different ways of putting it, but you understand what I'm talking about. Communication, what kind of communication you intend to achieve, you tell that to your marketing or advertisement division. If it is inside your company, maybe a separate division is dedicated for advertisement marketing, IMC, that is integrated marketing communication. Or maybe most of the cases it is a third party which is dedicated to do this job, right? Maybe creating a video, maybe writing copies, maybe doing this brand placement, brand communication. They are doing all these campaigns and all these videos and all that stuff. So they are focused on that. They are researching, they are taking data from you, they are understanding your requirements, they are making something, they are making a product, a short video or whatever be the thing. And they are choosing the media. What kind of media should have that, in which frequency, at what time, which time slot. Accordingly they are paying also, and they are receiving something in return. So the clients are paying the media agency, the media agencies are paying the media, because the media is giving them the space where they are actually advertising, and client is giving them the money because they have created something which is used in the brand communication. You understand what I'm talking about? Now Pew Research is one thing, a good website where you can go to, and it has a lot of data. Let me show you, and then quickly I will go to the presentation. So Pew Research, as you can see, there are many statistical data. Pew Research Center, and here you see a tally of 2020 and 2021. There's a frequency is given, often, sometimes, rarely, never, and don't get digital news. So what is this? This is 2020 তে একটা data নেওয়া হয়েছে, about half of Americans get news on social media at least sometimes. মানে social media তে news যে দেখে, uh, about half of Americans, সেটা আমাদের এখানে পাচ্ছি পার্সেন্টেজে। সো পার্সেন্টেজ অফ ইউএস অ্যাডাল্টস হু গেট নিউজ ফ্রম সোশ্যাল মিডিয়া, ও দিয়েই দিয়েছে, আমি যেটা বললাম সেটা দিয়ে দিচ্ছে। সো ইউ আর গেটিং যে আমার আদার্স অফেন অফেন তাই হচ্ছে, সামটাইমস তাই হচ্ছে, সামটাইমস বেশি দিচ্ছে, মানে সামটাইমস দে গেট দ্য নিউজ ফ্রম দ্য সোশ্যাল মিডিয়া। It all comes down to that. Now here, large majority of Americans get news on digital devices. এবার কোন ডিজিটাল ডিভাইসেস ইউ সি, অফেন মানে অফেনটা হচ্ছে এটা, সামটাইমস হচ্ছে এটা। টেলিভিশনে হচ্ছে 40, এটা আছে আমার টেলিভিশনে, আর এটা হচ্ছে সামটাইমস। রেডিওতে এটা হচ্ছে আমার অফেন, এটা হচ্ছে আমার সামটাইমস। প্রিন্ট পাবলিকেশনস, এটা হচ্ছে আমার অফেন, এটা হচ্ছে আমার সামটাইমস। সো অ্যাজ আই টকড অ্যাবাউট ডেটা ইন্টারপ্রিটেশন অর ডেটা অর্গানাইজেশন ইন দ্য thing, last discussion, it is very similar. So the way you put data in context, you get insights from that. It is very effective in business decision making. For example, here you get the pie chart. Okay. But ultimately, what it is going to do, it is giving you the information regarding social media and how people are using social media to get. So let me straight away to the website and let's see what we have got there. This is the website, Pew Research Center. I hope you can see this. And this is a bit older, like 2021, I think. Let me check. Yeah. So this is the fact sheet, and then you can have news consumption across platform. I will come to that, and digital platform and across platform consumption. So what are you getting across platforms? You are getting a data. Right now, how you can look at this data? Quickly, let me wrap up, and then I will go to the this thing, advertisement part. So here you have the frequency, often, sometimes, rarely, never, and you get the percentage. And it is a comparison of 3 years: 2020, 2021, 2022. So how you can interpret data? There are many ways, but let me tell you. This is survey of US adults conducted 18th August to 21st August. But what data you can get from here? Let me tell you, if you are weak in data interpretation, then let me show you this graph, and let's get the insights from the data. Right, there are many ways. I am just teaching you or telling you few of the ways. First, you have to look at the platform. So digital devices, how you are representing the data. This is the digital devices part. This is television, this is radio, and print publications. So different kinds of media. And you have the frequency, often, sometimes, rarely, never. So in one bar, you have shown three frequencies: often, sometimes, rarely, never. 60%, 26%, 7%, 7%. So 2020, 2021, 2022. Now, what do you have to do regarding this? You see, often has reduced 6% to 51 to 49. You see, sometimes has increased 26 to 33, and then it stayed 33. Rarely 7 to 8 and then to 10, and never 7 to 8. It is fixed again. This is only for digital devices, then television, then radio, then print publication. Now, interpret the data in many ways. You can start from something else, but I am telling you 4 platforms: print, radio, TV, and digital devices, 3 year of data comparison, annual data, and the frequency you have got. Right? So what do you have here? Television, digital devices, print, news platform, preferences. Preference এখানেও কিন্তু আমি 3 ইয়ারের ডেটাই কম্পারিজন করছি। ইফ ইউ সি, তাহলে এখানে আমি কি হোয়াট ইনফরমেশন ক্যান আই গেট? ওয়ান অফ দ্য ভেরি ফিউ হচ্ছে যে ডিজিটাল মিডিয়াতে যদি আমি দেখি 2021 to 2022, it has increased. The preferences বেড়ে গেছে 50 থেকে 53%. So it has increased. Television preference have gone down. So people are not preferring television more. They have gone away from television. This is flat or flat 7 7. So radio, nothing much change. Print publication, nothing much 7. But television, so differing digital away from TV, that is 36%. There are so many other things you can learn. Let me quickly show you some more data. So news across digital platforms. This is consumption across platform. Okay, platforms, news across. So news websites, search, social media, podcasts. Then you get a table. What is the table? Television, radio, print, and digital devices. These four kinds again, and the total is 65% for television, and this is the news platform use. So এখনো যদি আমি টোটাল দেখি 82% আমার ডিজিটাল ডিভাইসেস ইউজ করছে, 57% আমার ইউজ করছে রেডিও, প্রিন্ট ইউজ করছে 33. সো ইউ ক্যান সি দেয়ার মাস্ট বি অ্যান ওভারল্যাপ। ঠিক আছে, এখানে জেন্ডার ওয়াইজ আছে, ইফ ইউ লুক এট দ্য ডেমোগ্রাফিক্স অলসো, মেন অ্যান্ড উইমেন, এজ, এখানে আমার রেস যদি ব্ল্যাক, হিসপ্যানিক, এশিয়ান, এডুকেশন লেভেল এখানে আছে হাই স্কুল অর লেস, সাম কলেজ, কলেজ স্যালারি আছে। সো ইউ ক্যান আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড পার্সোনাল প্রফেশনাল লাইফ, demographic or lean demographic. So you have all this data. Mostly it is talking about age, gender, race, and your education. So you are getting the data accordingly. Now why I am talking about this, because you can create the data in your own way. What is the difference between these two data? এখানে বলা হচ্ছে যে at least sometimes এরা নিউজটা পাচ্ছে, এখানে আবার কারেকশনও করেছে। So you do a lot of graphs like that, but this Pew Research Center, you can go here and you see their tagline is numbers, facts, and trends shaping your world. So quantitative analysis, you are getting all these things. So research topic, if I go to, you'll see their research topic is politics, policy, international affairs, immigration and migration, race and ethnicity, religion, generations and age, gender, LGBTQ, family relationship, economy and work, science, internet, news habits and media, methodological risk. So news habits and media. You can click here. You can do it by region also, features, fact sheets, videos, and indices. So let's click the news habits and media. Let's see how it works. Here you can get the full topic list. It is taking some time to load, so let it load, and in the meantime let me come go through the presentation quickly. There are a few slides left. So yeah, let me just again let me quickly just show it to you, the presentation, and then as it loads, we'll come back to that. But where I ended is, let me quickly go back to this. These things we have done. This is we will do again in ways of business with investor mindset. So I will do a quick session regarding this, the kinds of organizations, the types, and UNESCO and these news agencies we talked about. Now we talk about the advertisement agency. So this is the thing. এইটা এখানে পর্যন্ত বলেছি আমি, আর এইটা ফুল সার্ভিস ইন্টারঅ্যাক্টিভ এন্ড ক্রিয়েটিভ বুটিক্স, এটা মানে কি? আচ্ছা, একটা জিনিস আমি যেটা বলছি যে ফিডব্যাকটা কেন খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট, ইউ হ্যাভ টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড যে যখন আমি একটা অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ক্যাম্পেইন করছি, when I am doing an advertisement campaign, I am taking feedback from the clients. My clients are telling me what kind of communication they want to achieve or intend to achieve, or the advertisement intends to achieve, what kind of communication but the particular advertisement or that particular communication tool is intending to achieve. That is very important because you are taking the feedback from the clients as well as you are taking the feedback from the audience, so you know where you stand. You know, you are doing a good survey, you are taking data from the client, uh, according to their requirements, what are their requirements, why so, what kind of communication they intend to achieve, and you are also getting data from the audience, how they are receiving it, how they are receiving that communication, how the image is built in the uh, audience's psychology or audience's mind, how the advertiser is staying in the audience's life. So all these things you can learn. Now there are different kinds. So আরেকটা কি হয়, মানে ডিফারেন্ট পিপল functions তো ডিফারেন্ট থাকে, দেয়ার ক্যান বি আর্ট ডিরেক্টরস, দেয়ার ক্যান বি প্ল্যানার্স, কপিরাইটার্স, সো এক্সপার্টস তারা, এদের তাদের যে টিম আছে ডিফারেন্ট পিপলের। বাট ফুল সার্ভিসটা কি হয়, দিজ আর লার্জ সাইজ এজেন্সিস, ঠিক আছে, এদের অনেকগুলো স্টেজেস অফ অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট থাকে। এবার প্রত্যেক কটা যে ডিপার্টমেন্ট আছে সেখানে একদম এক্সপার্ট লোকজন আছে, দেয়ার আর এক্সপার্ট পিপল ইন ইচ অফ দ্য ডিপার্টমেন্টস। এবার দে স্টার্ট ওয়ার্কিং ফ্রম গ্যাদারিং দ্য ডেটা, they analyze that data, and they ends on paying the bills to the media people. কেন বিল করছে, কেন ওখানে স্পেস দিয়েছে। So media, it can be TV, it can be print, it can be digital, it can be your radio. They have given a space and you have bought that space. So media planning and buying, that is called, because you are planning where to put it, with which frequency and at what time it should be seen, what kind of effect it can have, how long it should be seen, all these aspects, and what kind of communication it is intended to have, any feedback, all these things. সো ফুল সার্ভিস যেটা হচ্ছে প্রত্যেক কটার জন্য ডেডিকেটেড আমার ডিপার্টমেন্ট আছে। তো ডেটা গ্যাদারিং থেকে স্টার্ট হচ্ছে, একদম মিডিয়াতে গিয়ে পে করছে। এটা ফুল সার্ভিস, মানে দ্য প্রসেস সার্কেল যেটা আছে, আমি যদি প্রসেস চেইনটা বলি, ওরা পুরোটাকে কভার করছে, মানে ক্লায়েন্টের সাথে কথা বলে পুরো একদম শেষ পর্যন্ত মিডিয়াতে দেওয়ার পর্যন্ত। এটা ইন্টারঅ্যাক্টিভ এজেন্সিস যেটা হচ্ছে, এটা একটু মডার্নাইজড মোড অফ কমিউনিকেশন ইউজ করা হচ্ছে, একটু অনলাইন অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইউজ করা হচ্ছে, পার্সোনাল মেসেজেস অন মোবাইল ফোনস ইউজ করা হচ্ছে, এবং যে অ্যাডসটা দেওয়া হচ্ছে দ্যাট ইজ ভেরি ইন্টারঅ্যাক্টিভ, হ্যাভিং ভেরি নিউ কনসেপ্টস অ্যান্ড ভেরি ইনোভেটিভ। এবং এই যে ইন্টারঅ্যাক্টিভ করা হচ্ছে, তার ফলে কি হচ্ছে, অনেক সময় ইনস্ট্যান্ট ফিডব্যাকটা আমি পেয়ে যাই। এটা একটা ক্রিয়েটিভ বুটিক্স কি হচ্ছে, এটা হচ্ছে ভেরি ক্রিয়েটিভ ইনোভেটিভ অ্যাড, একদম আউট অফ দ্য বক্স থিঙ্কিং, বাট অ্যাকচুয়াল অ্যাড তৈরি ছাড়া নো আদার ফাংশন ইজ পারফর্মড। এবং এগুলো খুব স্মল সাইজড এজেন্সিস যেগুলো থাকে, যাদের নিজেদের কপিরাইটার থাকে, ডিরেক্টর থাকে, ক্রিয়েটিভ পিপল থাকে, তারা ক্রিয়েটিভ বুটিক্স বলে। মানে অনেক সময় ইউ উইল হিয়ার দ্য টার্ম যে ইটস এ ক্রিয়েটিভ বুটিক, স্মল নাম্বার অফ পিপল, কয়েকজন আর্টিস্টিক পিপল থাকছে, কয়েকজন ক্রিয়েটিভ পিপল থাকছে, বাট ইটস এ স্মল বুটিক অর্গানাইজেশন, but very creative and innovative. That's why this creative boutiques. কপিরাইটার, ডিরেক্টর, ক্রিয়েটিভ পিপল থাকছে। মিডিয়া বাইং এজেন্সি যেটা হয়, সেটা মানে হচ্ছে, যেটা বললাম যে আমি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ তো করবো, তার জন্য আমার একটা প্লেস কিনতে হবে। তো সেল করছি আমি অ্যাডভার্টাইজের কাছে, আর প্লেস, মানে প্লেসটা বাই করছি আমি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করার জন্য। এবং যে টাইমটাতে অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্টটা প্লেস হবে, সেই টাইমটাকে আমি সেল করছি। এবং ডিফারেন্ট টেলিভিশন চ্যানেল, ডিফারেন্ট রেডিও চ্যানেলে আমি স্লট সিলেক্ট করছি। ডিজিটাল মিডিয়াতে তো স্লট সিলেক্টের কোনো ব্যাপারটা থাকে না, কেন ডিজিটাল মিডিয়াতে কি হচ্ছে, একটা ভিডিও তৈরি হচ্ছে, এবার তার মধ্যে মাঝখানে যদি আমি প্লেসমেন্ট করি বা যদি আমি মুখে মেনশন করি, তখন হয়তো আমি সেখানে কিছু ওটার একটা মার্কেটিং করলাম। বা টিভিতে যেমন হচ্ছে সেটা চলছে, সেটা কখন একটা আসবে একটা পার্টিকুলার টাইমে, রেডিওতে চলছে একটা পার্টিকুলার টাইমে একটা অ্যাড আসবে, সেগুলো তো কিনতে হয়। মিডিয়া বাইং এজেন্সি তাই কাজ করে, সুপারভাইজ করে অর চেক করে যে অ্যাডটাকে টেলিকাস্ট হয়েছে কিনা, যে যে প্লেসটা সিলেকশন হয়েছিল, দ্য অপটেড প্লেস বলি বা ডিজায়ার্ড প্লেস বলি, ওয়্যার ইট ওয়াজ সাপোজ টু বি, সেটাকে ওয়েদার ইট ইজ রাইট অর নট। আরেকটা হচ্ছে ইনহাউস এজেন্সি, উইচ আই স্টার্টেড উইথ। ইট ইজ অ্যাজ গুড অ্যাজ ফুল সার্ভিস এজেন্সি। কেন ফুল সার্ভিস বলছে? ফ্রম গ্যাদারিং দ্য ডেটা টু এন্ডিং ইট উইথ পেইং দ্য বিলস টু দ্য মিডিয়া, যেখান থেকে আমি স্পেসটা কিনেছি তাকে দিচ্ছি। এই প্রসেসটা তো আমার বাইরে ছিল, সেটা যদি কোম্পানির ভেতরে চলে আসে, তাহলে দ্যাট ইজ হচ্ছে আমার ইন হাউস এজেন্সিস। তাই জন্য ওটা অ্যাজ গুডই থাকছে। এবং বিগ অর্গানাইজেশন এটাকে প্রেফার করে, যাতে এটা অনেকে প্রেফার করে, তার কারণ ক্রিয়েটিভ কন্ট্রোলটা যাতে তার কাছে থাকে। টু রিটেন দ্যাট ক্রিয়েটিভ কন্ট্রোল, মেনি বিগ অর্গানাইজেশন দে হ্যাভ দেয়ার ওন ইন হাউস এজেন্সিস। সব জায়গায় অন্য কাজগুলো হচ্ছে, বাট ওয়েন দে আর সেন্ডিং ইট টু দ্য ইন হাউস এজেন্সি, নিজেদের মধ্যেই তারা কমিউনিকেশন পার্টটা, স্ট্র্যাটেজিক রিলেশন পার্টটা নিজেদের মধ্যেই দেখে নিচ্ছে। দের ইজ নো এক্সটার্নাল সার্ভিস রিকোয়ার্ড। ঠিক আছে। আর আরেকটা এখানে অ্যাডভান্টেজ হচ্ছে, আই থিঙ্ক সবগুলোরই প্রোজ অ্যান্ড কনস আছে, বাট এটার অ্যাডভান্টেজটা হচ্ছে, when you belong to a particular culture na, so the culture is communicated to you in a very transparent way. So শুরুতে you know what you stand for, what you want to do, what you intend to achieve in terms of communication. Daily you are watching this in your own organization. Now this is a part in your organization only, which have to do the parts, actually they have to do the strategic communication. Or if it is a single part, then it has to do the strategic communication. But the thing is, there is a problem. Sometimes you might get biased, but if you give it to the third party, or if you give it to the third party agency or an intermediary, so what you can have is objectivity is there. So it depends on your context, it depends on the trade-offs you want to look at. Because in-house agency, they know your strategy, they know your vision, they know your mission statement. Accordingly, they are creating the ad very easily. But maybe if you give it to someone else, they will bring something else to that creation or to that advertisement, right? So the communication, again, it comes down to the communication, how effective, how involved, how engaged is the communication. even before taking it to the media. Then how audience is receiving that? Because when you do that, objectivity is there, but they are also researching many things according to your requirement. They are asking questions to the advertisers or the clients what they want to achieve. So if you can clearly communicate to them, then they can come up with something. Or if they cannot, you can have an in-house agency with which you can do that. অনেক সময় ট্রানজিশনও একটা হয়, একটা বড় কোম্পানি, it used to use third party agencies, then they learned something from them, then they thought that ওটা যদি আমি করি তাহলে আমার ব্র্যান্ডটা কমিউনিকেট হচ্ছে না, বিকজ এটাও হতে পারে যে মাই ব্র্যান্ড ইজ সো হাই, or the thing I wanted to achieve or want to achieve, it is so higher, they are not able to like understand it. How can they communicate? So you figure out with your in-house agency, you build your in-house agency, maybe small, but they are continuously in that environment, so things are much easier, right? So these are the things you have to understand. And then advertising agency, we call it ad agency also, some call it creative agency. So your clients are actually being served, or the clients are served. Now you sometimes share a sense of purpose. A sense of purpose, it can come from your vision or mission statement. How? Suppose your company is wanting to do something, that is your tagline, your mission or vision statement. When you, as I just said, when you are communicating with the ad agencies or the advertisement agencies, you are communicating that vision or mission statement, that this is, no matter whatever you create, it should have that theme or have that essence. When the audience see this particular ad, they will get that communication. And it is not personal also, but some people make it personal. They use it to motivate particular kind of people in the society, so there is more chaos and anarchy and all that stuff. But we are not talking about these people. We are talking about the academic disciplines regarding any particular subject, right? Sheta. So shared sense of purpose, it's a win-win situation. You're doing it through collaboration. You are asking question, because many times you have to understand that many times the media agency will ask you a lot of question. As an advertiser, you should be well aware of that. So the person who is part of the organization or the advertiser, he or she must know uh, who are they talking to, what kind of communication they want to have, so that these people can make a communication. Now sometimes it depends on the advertising agency. Sometimes what happens is, maybe the agency you're taking, that's a wrong agency, so that's why they are not understanding your value, they are not understanding your brand, so they are doing the wrong branding, they are doing maybe completely opposite branding. So when Steve Jobs was very good with advertising and this branding. So Ridley Scott did a video for Steve Jobs, and it's beautiful. The woman is throwing something and it crashes the big brother and all that stuff. So it has a lot of metaphors, it has a lot of innuendo, and it's a great communication product. Sachi and Sachi, they did the advertisement, so we can look at that. And anyways, I have talked about J. Walter Thompson, your Ogilvy and Mather, and Dentsu and all these people. So we have talked about that. But Steve Jobs was. That's why I'm talking about the ownership patterns. I'm talking about the hierarchy. I'm talking about the higher management. Because when you have a person like Steve Jobs, that person, maybe that person is running a business of a tech product, but that person is very creative. So whenever he is communicating to the ad agency, he's pushing them to do something creative, you know. So choosing the director, and Ridley Scott, you know how great a director Ridley is. So Ridley Scott directed an ad, David Fincher directed some music videos, and some directors once in a while they do make short films and ads. So it's fun, it's a lot of fun, but there should be a shared sense of purpose. It's a win-win thing. Now strategic process, obviously when you are doing a strategic communication, the process has to be strategic, no doubt about that. So you're creating, you're planning, you're handling advertising, other forms of promotion and marketing for clients. 4 P's I talked about, IMC I talked about, so that is the thing. In-house or external third party, already I discussed. Marketing, branding, sometimes sales. So you're doing that. Now, creative department in an ad agency, it was first created by James Walter Thompson. Now you know JWG, you know J. Walter Thompson. It's a great company in terms of ad. Ogilvy, it's a great person. Now we had this thing called, what was that? Madison Avenue. Actually, Madison Avenue is a very good place for advertisement. So Mad Men is the series we got, which talks about advertising. So and then Glenn Gary Glen Ross, if you see the movie, so David Mamet wrote it really well. So always be closing, so that is talking about sales, and then you're marketing. You're doing marketing also. So it was a play, it was a movie. I mean, not a great movie, but it showed you the creative industry. So to write a script also, you need to know the advertisement scenario, and this is so important. And PwC Digital and Deloitte Digital started competing with the ad agencies, and they had digital analytics. So digital analytics যবে থেকে এসছে তবে থেকে এটা ইউজ করে প্রাইস ওয়াটার হাউস কুপার্স অ্যান্ড আমাদের ডেলয়েট ডিজিটাল they started fighting. And you have to understand, in the last two sessions, I think I showed you যে you know in the last two sessions I showed you, this PwC is very intense or very rich with data, whereas the Deloitte report I showed you, that is not the data rich. That is talking about the strategic consideration, definitely. But PwC was more about data. But it is not like that with few things we can do a general assumption, because Deloitte, I have seen Deloitte report also, that is also having a lot of data. So take the best from everything and you can understand. But using data analytics, they started to compete with the ad agencies. Barriers. Accenture bought Droga 5 agency in 2019. It is also a good strategic business decision, and I will discuss in a case study how it was achieved, what was the deal, the amount of the deal, the strategic considerations. So we'll talk about that. Now, barriers: lack of trust, communication issues, ego of the wrong kind, a kind of destructive ego, which is not taking you anywhere. It is destroying the relationships. So that is there. Only duration, frequency of meetings, duration, the time, duration, how long, frequency of meetings, how many times. Then your mutual respect, something more, a great relationship. Are you doing the relationship based on these things only? Then it will be at a very superficial level, or to some extent a bit more, or a bit further than the superficial levels. But you can do much greater things with a great relationship. You can select a great talent who can create a great jingle. You can select a good director who can direct a great video with artistic freedom. And because it is needed in advertisement, creativity is a big deal. So that's important. Research, media planning, you're planning for the media. There are many aspects how you want to, but ultimately it comes down to the communication. Then media buying, you're buying space. And account planning, you're planning what kind of communication you intend to achieve. The communication research will be very connected to account planning, because we will talk about that in that session. And strategic media relations, agency client collaboration, you know about all these things. Now this is the end slide, I think. Yeah. Then I will go to the statistics. So WPP, the place is London, revenue 4.45 billion, and you will have a recent data. Let me see what we have. Omnicom Group, New York City, $3.43 billion revenue. Publicis Paris, $2.96 billion. IPG New York City, $2.26 billion. Dentsu Tokyo, $2.25 billion. Havas Paris, $668 million. Now I will talk about the names in a special way, so just wait for that. But for the time being, let me just go to the statistics, and then I will end it. And also, one thing I want to talk about. So you can do one thing. Suppose you want to have a particular kind of creative flavor in your advertisement. So maybe you are an organization based on US. So maybe you are a US based organization, but you want to have that French flavor. So you may go give it to Publicis, and they can create the ad with their own way, and you will have that touch, that French flavor. You will have it, provided you have a good communication with them, you have mutual trust with them, so you can make a lot of things regarding that. Because ultimately, if you ask me what is the necessity for this kind of thing, I think a brand essence, brand values, brand personality, and the impression the brand makes to the audience, that's important for many. And unfortunately, it has been like it has been important for some people who don't have the content, so they only do the superficial part, because they have made marketing and advertising very superficial too. So that's why, uh, you know uh, we need to delve deep into these aspects, because you have to understand the media agency or the advertisement agency, or ad agency. They are getting the information from the client, and they are just buying the thing. If they are only media buying agency, as I talked about, in terms of full service, they are also creating all those things, and they are involved in that entire process. So it can really help to understand your customer really well, and other things as well. I don't know what happened. It just showed you. Okay, let me just give me 1 second. I'm coming. Yeah. So let's see. Okay. uh, did I mention Nyman? I don't think so. So Howard, There's a thing called the Nyman Institute. Let me just show you that. And whatever I shared, this is 2021 Q3 data. So let me see live what data I can get regarding the. Okay. Yeah. So Neiman Foundation, you can see it. That is regarding journalism, though. So you can see. So yeah, this is one thing. One website you can go to, and it is good. It is having a lot of information. There are fellowships available. So as you go down, I was showing you the predictions for journalism is there. How when candidates avoid mainstream news, because you have to understand why they are avoiding mainstream news. Maybe there is not enough research regarding that. So what I am doing here is I am telling you why you are avoiding. Let's give it a thought. Have you faced these issues? If so, then you can give it a thought in a very serious manner, because that might be affecting someone else also. So that's why it is important. That might be affecting such there and reporting with empathy on gun violence trauma. There is a lot of trauma, a lot of accidents now. So how do you report? Because as I said in the last session, news can be marketing for some people, and there can be more incidents happening. So it's a good place to be. And then let me just show you something else. In terms of statistics, let me talk about the Reuters also. So 164-page document. Now it looks blank, but let me just show you it is there. Designs. Reuters Institute Digital News Report. I hope you can see this. What is there? Where you have the regions, right? So let me back on that. And let's right. So let's see this. So you have different regions, and then your Asia Pacific you have got, and what else you have got. So here, if you can see, in Americas you have got section 2. You have got different countries forward methodology, but they are actually telling you how the samples were taken, what was the process. So whenever you are doing research, this is very helpful. This is the way you did the research and your methodology and all that stuff. So samples were as well using nationally representative quotas for age, gender, and region in every market. So it is talking about the regions. Then reason here you have a lot of. So this is actually very interesting, and you can understand that people who avoid news, it's a data regarding that. 2017 to 2022, if we look at Brazil, sometimes or often they actively avoid news. Increased. If you look at Austria, it was 36, now it is 34. So now you can understand যে reasonটা নিয়ে যেটা আমি বলছিলাম, why they are avoiding the news. They have done a research regarding that also. I'm telling them 43% say there is too much politics and COVID. News has a negative effect on mood. 36% বলছে. So you cannot ignore that. That's why I am doing this. Whether it's news or it is advertisement or it is advertisement use of news, or in the in the makeup of news, 36% mood. Is it deliberately created? They are worn out by the amount of news. Again, I talked about it, information overload. So there is like abundance of content and sometimes crappy content, and they don't know what to do about it. So they avoid it. They leave the news watching activity. So 29% they say the news is untrustworthy or biased. So why should we invest? And it leads to arguments I would rather avoid. 70% say there is nothing I can do with the information. 16%. So if you look at these four, negative effect on mood, worn out by the amount of news. This is quantity. This is the quality that is very low. These three will tell you about the quality. Negative effect on mood, untrustworthy or biased, and it leads to argument I would rather avoid. So these three are against your mental well-being or peace, right? And this is telling you about the quantity, because the quantity is so huge, it doesn't make sense. And here you are understanding you cannot do anything with the information. So understand the combo of these two. Worn out by the amount of news, so many crappy news, and you have nothing to do with the information. Then why are you getting the news? Why the news was presented? These are the questions. News can uplift the society, the proper news. It can build morale, it can maintain morale. But if it is used to destroy that or to diminish that, then it's a problem. You need to address it as soon as possible. Okay. So political leaning brings down my mood, worn out by the amount of news. Whatever I said, they have done this an analysis. There are more statistics, and this is proportion that trusts most news most of the time, all markets. There are trust করে, and you will see India তো 41% তো দিচ্ছে, পর্তুগালে 61%, ফিনল্যান্ডে 69%, যারা নিউজটাকে ট্রাস্ট করে। Now why I am doing these sessions, that's why I am doing it very quickly. Suppose people are trusting it and you believe in these statistics, that this percentage of people, they are trusting the news, and then if the news is becoming crappy, that trust is getting betrayed again and again, and you have to make those compromises. That is the thing. So proportion trust most news of the time in selected markets. So here you have the graph, here you have the bar graphs, and here you have the line graphs. So here you have the yearly comparison also. Significant events, post Brexit fall, and all that stuff. So a lot of information regarding the data. Divided America, consensual Finland. Just kidding. Anyways, so proportion who think the news media are free from undue political influence. Undue political influence, a very important thing. It can teach you a lot. You look at the thing and you get the information. So I'm not specifically mentioning it, but this is a very good report. I will share it in the description. And this is regarding subscription, TV, movies, streaming, music, audiobooks and podcast, sports, news. So news is absolutely low. So news sites, there are more news sites, there are more content. So you see Portugal is having a lot of news sites, Brazil is having a lot of news sites. Digital media, they are coming to the digital media, but there are many channels, but there is a lot of information overload. So that's why I said now you need some concept what to go for, because US is bands like brands you can trust, and if they are just doing it for no reason, then it is just crappy information there. I mean, no sensible educated person will use that. That's why it is always needed. Best if you are the uh, sole decision maker, or maybe you have a group who can make the decision. If it is not, then you might need a third party who can take care of. This is red news, who mostly read news in text. So there's a lot of data. YouTube high users you have got. This is for podcasts. So you have the conclusion. Now you can still go through the document and you can learn a lot. Do is just acha, news topic. Social justice is very important, and for example, these are important things because social justice based on what? Race, gender inequality, LGBTQ rights, LGBTQ plus rights, culture, music, books, films, arts, lifestyle news, food, fashion, travel, mental health and wellness, science and technology, sports, business, financial and economic views, crime and personal security, environment and news about coronavirus, political news, international news, local news about region, city, or town. So you get all this data. Okay, news brands or journalists. Very important. When you are a news brand, then people may look at you in a different way. You build the trust. And when somebody else is coming from that brand, they will have certain attachments or they will have certain kind of impression created regarding that brand. So that is very important. And you see the journalists, the most mentioned journalists and their role in UK. So Piers Morgan, I personally prefer this person, very well spoken, witty, humorous, and a good speaker. So at four, Robert Peston, not bad. This is Robert Peston. Laura is also good. I've heard her political correspondent. So here you can see that এখানে আমার টিভি প্রেজেন্টের বা অ্যাঙ্কার টিভি প্রেজেন্টার অ্যাঙ্কার টিভি অ্যাঙ্কার columnist, their roles it has been given. So here you can understand which role you can belong to. Political correspondent, these two are doing political correspondent. So anybody who is doing political coverage, I think you can listen to these people and you can learn a lot how they speak, how they present something. So they are really good. So political correspondent, and then you have the columnist also, and sketch writer you have in print. And about, I think, US they have mentioned also. Just a second. Yeah. So USA রে কি আছে? USA তে, we know Anderson is a very good person for CNN. Then you have Laura here, Fox, Tucker Carlson. You know this is Tucker Carlson, Fox. Recently we got some news regarding her. Rachel Maddow is very good with MSNBC. I know her. She's a very good speaker. Like I have heard her speaking in MSNBC. Eloquent. So Anderson, though, is obviously very. He does it with the gut. That grit is shown in his approach in covering, reporting, as well as in taking interviews. So the journalists really good. And this is the logos for the news channels: MSNBC, CNN, France TV, Fox News, BBC News. Here you have the Guardian. So you have all this. Broadcast, this blue part is the broadcast TV and radio. Last day we discussed broadcast TV and radio, and then you have the print in the orange part, then online or other, this, right? So most mentioned journalists and their roles in the selected markets, if you have all these people. So yeah, so this is also a comparison of countries. This is also related to that, the news. So climate change news, this is a very important data, because climate change news and how people are looking at the climate change news, and then uh, source of climate change news. If I talk about the source, so documentaries, TV or film, you can learn a lot from, but 39% is the source. So this is under 35, the blue part, and the orange part is 35 plus. So if you are older, you are using documentary and TV or film. So that is your preferences. And under 35, documentaries are low. So, and then you can know that celebrity social media, when you're under 35, celebrities, social media personalities, activists, they are more interested in that, you know. And then as you are going 35 plus, the interest is less. So different topics you have here. It's a very good report I will share it in the description, so I won't go further. But here you are getting it. Got United Kingdom, you got. So these are the country. So here you will get data for India also. Let me just see. This is Europe, and then as you go, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, France, Greece, Hungary, Ireland. Czech and Slovakia. So you have got data for both. Um, uh, this is America. So you got United States, you got Argentina, Canada. Let's go on and on. But let me just figure out the India part. Population 1393 million. Internet penetration in India is 54% according to them. Diverse with numerous outlets operating in English and multiple regional languages. Hard hit by pandemic with falling advertising revenues and widespread journalistic layoffs. Now this is also important because when you are laying off a journalist, you need to know who you are laying off. So that is also about prioritization. So, Asian College of Journalism, there is a research associate Anjana Krishnan, and you see the TV, radio, and print. Times of India, NDTV, India Today, BBC News, Hindustan Times, Hindu, Republic, Times Now, DD News, regional or local newspaper, Indian Express, CNBC TV 18, Economic Times, All India Radio. So the government organization is also there. As I just mentioned in the last discussion, All India Radio AIR is there, CNN is also there, Indian Express. And online, you have all these websites and all readership you can look at. Also, these are names they have mentioned, but many are biased. So let me tell you, maybe they don't know because there's a lot of different kind of communication going on in the back. But a lot of biased sources, or journalistic entities. So TV sources of news 59%, online for 84%, including social media, print 49%, social media 63%, devices for news, computer is more, computer 50 to 35%, smartphones 72%, tablet 15%. So you can understand, J, smartphone is used more to read the news. Overall trust score, news overall 41% trust score page to 20 out of 46 market. So below 50%, but less than half. News I use 44%. Undue political influence, undue business influence, we have got it. Brand trust, I mean, score they have created. Trust is the purple thing, neither is the gray thing, and don't trust is this. So, and I think this is wrong data because I have seen some other research also. So you cannot trust this data fully, and let me tell you that because I think there is a bit of bias there. And just give me one sec, and then I will wrap it up. All right. Yeah, so I think I'm done with this. Now let me quickly go through few things and then I will just finish it off. So in 2 minutes, I'm gonna finish it off. So that's why what I tell people is, um, like one source is not enough. If you have multiple sources, then you get some idea regarding what is happening. Otherwise, if you completely believe in one source, maybe the data you're getting is completely wrong or maybe mostly wrong. So you might be taking wrong decisions based on that. So that is important.